Vietnam.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
Which
sounds fascinating.
he does
yeah.
not do.
Sure, I know.
do.
It's a
It's pretty protected.
sore spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did it, but he did.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I swear to God, Jenny's had 50-cent pieces for her eyes.
I
mean, it was
probably
like,
would
it's
too.
the same thing around the
For
table.
sure.
Don
Yeah.
just started talking, and it's like, telling him some of his stories.
God.
And it's like,
Yeah.
holy cow. So, it's interesting how it doesn't take very many generations for that history to get lost. Is I guess
Yeah.
the
Sure.
point,
Yeah,
know?
well,
Yeah.
these kids were like, their mouth was open.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
told them the things that were rationed was sugar,
Mm-hmm.
butter, meat, gasoline, flour, shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And she told them how they used to mix the butter.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, their
You
mouths
did
were
what?
dropped open.
Oh my God!
Did you ever tell Susan how you mix the butter with
Did you
Gloria?
ever know how I mixed it?
How'd you make it?
Well, they used to give us these. It was like this in a Ziploc type
Right.
thing, but it was not Ziploc. It was all
Right.
plastic, and in it they had a little piece of about that big of yellow coloring. Right?
Yeah, I remember
Okay.
that.
So what you did is you busted that coloring with your thumb or whatever
Uh-huh.
to make it bust inside the thing, and then you mixed it to make it look like butter,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, Gloria and I used to sit across the table in the kitchen and throw it to each other, so it would mix. And so she'd mix it with her hand like that, and I'd mix it when I got it,
Uh-huh.
and then we'd roll it around.
Because the softer it got, it easier
It was
to mix.
soft,
Uh-huh.
and then you would get it just the way you want it, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and it would harden up, and then you have butter.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids were just like, they could not believe it.
Was it truly butter, or was it
It was margarine.
It was margarine.
Mhm.
Anyway.
vegetable oil?
Yeah.
Pretty much was salt.
Anyway, so and then we only had 2 pairs of shoes a year. They could only have so much. I don't remember how much gasoline you could charge in a month. I mean, you could get in a month. I don't remember that, but I know it was not a lot.
And the 2 shoes a year was because of the leather.
Yeah.
They needed that
Because
leather.
they were making boots
For the guys,
soldiers.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sugar.
Is that when tennis shoes came? Because they didn't need
Pretty
the leather?
much.
Probably,
Probably.
huh?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could use canvas and maybe have
Yeah.
a third pair of shoes.
Sure.
They could use old tires to make the
Yeah.
soles.
Oh
Yeah.
God, that was another thing that was rationed.
Oh, yeah.
Tires.
You could only get 1 set of tires a year. I mean, there was so many things. I could go down the list, I guess, probably find it on Google. But there was,
Did people use more than 1 set of tires a year?
well...
It was a different type of rubber
well,
and stuff.
depending where you live, too, Nancy. Because, a lot of people live where the roads are really rough.
Oh yeah.
Well, also
And
the
the-
tires probably weren't as sturdy
and
as they are
they
now.
were-
They were from
and the
rubber
roads
trees.
probably
Yeah.
aren't, and the roads probably aren't
I
as
mean,
nice
they
as
weren't.
were
They
now.
were
So
from rubber
yeah.
trees,
Right.
so.
So now we have like really
Yeah.
sturdy tires and very flat roads. There,
Right.
then I'm assuming it was
Yeah.
worse tires and worse roads.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, gasoline, tires,
2 shoes.
meat. You
Yeah.
could only have a certain amount of meat a week.
Yeah.
Each person that lived in the
And they
house.
had probably
But
canned meat.
Well,
Yeah?
no, we
No?
bought
You got
meat,
fresh?
but you each had a ration book.
Mm-hmm.
You probably saw mine,
Mm-hmm.
and you would give the little ration thing for each, like meat, sugar,
Like blue chip
or whatever.
stamps
Yeah,
almost.
right. It was like that. And when you ran out of that, so sorry, you didn't buy any more. So these people don't even realize now that they have everything at their touch.
Mm-hmm.
I think, God, if they would have ever gone through that. And people made it.
Sure.
People made it.
Me too.
You know what?
Yeah.
And they helped each other.
And they
I
helped
can
each
remember
other. That was
this.
part of it.
Do you need one of those stamps?
Mhm.
If you needed for something that they didn't need, they would give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people were so...
Tradesy, or probably
Yeah.
I'll cut your hair if
They
I can
said-
have an extra
Well,
stamp.
no,
Yeah,
not only that,
for
but
sure.
they'd say, well, I used my sugar one. Do you have an extra sugar one?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd say,
Yeah.
oh, sure. Because especially if you had like 4 in the family or 3 in the family,
Sure.
you had extra sugar.
Sure.
You didn't use all that sugar.
Yeah.
But they only had like 2 or 3 different kinds of cereals.
Mm-hmm.
They only had cornflakes, Wheaties. I can't think of another one.
And oatmeal.
Oh, and
Yeah.
oatmeal. They had
Yeah.
oatmeal. My grandmother loved the oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was, but you know what? They survived.
Yeah.
You know, people could survive anything if they put their mind to it. Like this
And stick
COVID
together.
thing, if everybody would do what they're supposed to do, they would have got through it a long time ago. Because consequently, we've got this Trump
No.
that caused all the problems, and now these people are saying, they're still saying, this, what's her name, Green?
Oh, jeez.
She's
this
calling
one.
him President Trump.
Is she
Yeah.
really?
When she's
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about him, she, at the Senate floor, she calls him President Trump.
Yeah. It's
Shameful.
pretty
Shameful.
outrageous. Yeah.
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 So, I thought, God.
Yeah.
I-
It's gone to a weird. It's
We
gotten
were
weird.
talking, Mom and I were talking today about it would be really neat, and you might make it, but
Mhm.
we won't.
Yeah.
40, 50 years from now,
Yeah.
what's our United States going to look like?
Yeah.
What
What
it's
is it
hard,
gonna
you
be
can't
like?
predict, but what's it going to be like? I mean, 40 years from now, you're going to be 80 some odd years old. You're going to be getting close to G's age.
It's.
What's it going to be like, It'll be interesting.
I'm gonna be really interested to see how. I feel like everyone's life right now is absorbed by screens,
Yeah.
by staring into a screen,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think that's sustainable. And so I think there's going to be
Revolution.
there's either going to be a not necessarily like a revolution, but just like a
Civil
Aha
pushback.
moment. Aha moment.
an aha moment, a pushback of
Mhm.
like of wow, this is like really a I think we will look at it in the way that people look at smoking,
Mm-hmm.
where like 50 years ago, like everybody smoked all the time, no matter
Yeah.
what, whereas now everyone just stares at a screen all the time, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's making people soft in the head.
Well,
And I think it's weird because like the appeal of the internet initially was
of
that
course.
it's access to information.
Sure.
It's like having an encyclopedia in your hand at all times.
Yeah.
But what's really sort of counterintuitive about it is that like if I wanted to learn about something, so like I'm hearing Grandma talk about
Mhm.
World War II. If I wanted to learn about World War II 15 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I would take the time to go to a bookstore and
Or a
spend my money
library,
for it, or
buy
I'd
a book.
go to a library and spend my time
Right.
to research that information,
Mm-hmm.
and my brain tells me this information has value.
Right.
I put energy and
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
into attaining this information because it matters to me.
Right.
Right? Well, now information is so devalued that your brain just tells you like, well, it's always there. So
and
you don't really
you learn it in snippets rather than absorb the whole
absolutely
big picture.
right. So people don't read articles; they read headlines.
They're right.
People don't listen to.
Could you do me a favor?
Get
Could
rid-
you move this light
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah.
Because
This-
it's bright. It's bright in my face.
Yeah, it's right in your grill.
You know,
This is your performance.
Yeah,
This is fun.
I often